Welcome to Maths. This is Sam Mange, the Maths Eagle, right? This paper is a Cambridge International Pure Mathematics Paper 1, Advanced Level Mathematics. It's for May-June 2021, Variant 1-3. Then after watching this video, please subscribe, like, and share this nice powerful video. Instructions, very important, especially on the degree of accuracy. If the degree of accuracy is not specified, leave your answer to 3 significant figures or 1 decimal place for angles. Take note of that. Then omission of essential working will actually result in loss of marks. Step by step, no shortcuts. Let's get started. Question number 1. Question number 1. Right. A curve with the equation y is equals to f of x is such that f1x. f1x means first derivative or dy dx. This one is the same as dy over dx or first. So it's the same as dy dx, this one. That's the first derivative, f1x. It is given that the curve passes through the point 27. Find f of x. Right. So this one was differentiated for us to get first derivative, which is f1x. So what was differentiated was the original equation of the curve, which is f of x in this case. So how can we get the original equation? Integrate, use the concept of integration, right? So integrate from this point to get f of x. What you do is you can say f1x is the same as dy over dx. You can use dy over dx is the same as dy dx. Then after that, you can write dy over dx is equals to 6x squared minus 8 over x squared, like this. Then separate variables. After separating variables, x on the right side, everything with y on the left side. Then after that, integrate, you get your equation in terms of constant k. Then after that, you substitute 2 and 7. It means x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 7. Those are the values that will help you to find the value of the constant. Replace the constant and then you have your equation of the curve. Done. Let's do exactly like that. So first, let's separate the variables. Separating variables here, you get dy is equals to 6x squared minus 8. This one, I can put x squared as a numerator here, applying the laws of indices. X to the power minus a is 1 over x to the power a. Any number raised to a negative power is the same as 1 over the same number when raised to a positive power. So I can just give the power negative, like this. Then I will multiply by dx here on this side. So dx on this side, it was dividing. On this side, then it will multiply. Then you are done. Right. Then after that, you put your integral sign, both sides. Integrate. Integrating dy, you get y is equals to integrating 6x squared. Right. Integration of this type, x to the power n dx is 1 over power plus 1 x to the power plus 1 then plus a constant. So I just have to apply the same concept. That's what you have to do. So this one 6 was already there. It will be times 1 over power plus 1, which is the power is 2. 2 plus 1 is what? Is 3. X to the power 2 plus 1 is 3 minus 8 times. Then let me say 1 over minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1. X to the power minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1. Then plus a constant. I can put c or k, whichever. You can put this to the same. Then y is equal to, simplifying here, you get 3 into 6 is 2. This one is 2. It will be 2x cubed here, minus this minus and this minus, actually it will be a plus here. Then 8x to the power minus 1 plus a constant. Then I can also apply the laws of indices here. The same law, this one, of negative powers. It will be y is equals to 2x3 then plus 8 over x. It will be x to the power 1 then plus c, like this. Now you substitute. Use this point, because this point lies on the curve. It satisfies the equation of the curve. That's the coordinate point used to find the value of the constant. x2, y7. So you put 7 here. 2 cubed plus 8 over 2 plus c. Then after that, you simplify. 7 is equals to 2 cubed is 8. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 2 into 8 is 4 plus c. It will be 7 minus 16 minus 4 is equal to c. 7 minus 16. Okay, that is the calculator. 7 minus 16 minus 4. What do you get? Minus 13. So you get your c is equal to minus 13. Then replace this c here to find the equation. You find the equation as y is equal to 2x cubed plus 8 over x minus 13. So that will be your f of x. F of x, since we said let y is equal to f of x here, so f of x is equals to 2x cubed plus 8 over x minus 13. That will be your original f of x. Then you can say you are done. Question number 2. The function f is defined by f of x is equals to 1 over 3, 2x minus 1 to the power 3 over 2 minus 2x. For x lies between half and a. It is given that f is a decreasing function. Find the maximum possible value of the constant a. Right, so this one is the decreasing function. Decreasing function, we know that dy over dx is supposed to be less than 0. It's negative, right? So dy dx is negative. Remember, dy over dx is the same as the first derivative of x, f1x. That's the same thing. So it means f1x is less than 0. It's negative. Right, find the maximum possible values of the constant a. Right, what you have to do here, first thing you need to differentiate. After differentiating, then you let your first derivative less than 0. You find the value of a. Then in that case, done. Right, let's differentiate this one. There's this form ax plus b to the power n. How do you differentiate this one? D over dx. You say, you bring down the power n, then you say ax plus b, you subtract 1 to the power, then multiply by the derivative of what is inside this bracket, right? Ax plus b, derivative is a. So I want to apply the same concept on this part. It will be the first derivative of x or dy dx is equal to 1 over 3 times, bring down the power 3 over 2, then maintain 2x minus 1, then subtract 1 to the power 3 over 2 minus 1, multiply by the first derivative of what is inside the bracket, then minus, differentiating 2x minus 2x, you get minus 2. Then simplifying further here, 3 will cancel out, 2 will cancel out, it will be 2x minus 1 to the power 3 over 2 minus 1 is actually 1.5 minus 1 is half. Then minus 2. So that's your first derivative. So this one is supposed to be less than, 0. It's supposed to be negative. So you say 2x minus 1 to the power half minus 2 is less than 0. It's negative. Then after that, find your x. So x represents the value of a. Then here it will be 2x minus 1. The power half is less than 2. After that, it will be, right, you want to get rid of the power half. What do? Square both sides. Let's square both sides times 2 here. Then square both sides to the power 2 here. It will be 2x minus 1 is less than 2 squared is 4. Let me just put 4. Remember, 2x minus 1 is the same as square root of 2x minus 1. Then it was less than 2. Then to remove the square root, we just square both sides. That's what I have done here. Then after that, it will be 2x minus 1. Let me just put less than here. It's 4 plus 1. Then 2x less than 5. Divide by 2 by 2. You get x less than 2.5. So which means the maximum value of x, which is a, is 2.5. Then you can say we've answered our question. Done. Then next question, question number 3. A line with the equation y is equals mx minus 6 is a tangent to the curve with the equation y is equals to x squared minus 4x plus 3. Find the possible values of the constant m and the corresponding coordinates of the points at which the line touches the curve. Right, there are two things that you have to take note of in this case. One, the line is a tangent to the curve, which means if it's a tangent to the curve, it means they have one point of intersection. Right? You can use the discriminant of a quadratic polynomial to find the point of intersection. Because remember, if there is only one point of intersection, there is only one real root. So if there is only one real root, then it means b squared minus 4ac must be equal to 0. It's a tangent. Only one point of intersection. That's the first part. Then the other thing, to find the coordinates points of intersection, equate the equations of the two, line and equation, and curve. So you solve them as simultaneous equations. Equate here, where there is one, you can put this one. So let's find that one first. You say here, x squared minus 4x plus 3 is equals to mx plus 6. Where there is y, this one was equals to y, is equals to y. Then where there is y, you just put mx plus, mx is minus 6. It's minus 6. Mx minus 6. Then express as a quadratic equation. It will be x squared minus 4x minus mx plus 3 plus 6 is equal to 0. Then it will be x squared minus 4x minus mx plus 9 is equal to 0. Then I have to express in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Then it will be x squared here. I factor out x here. Then it will be 4 plus m. If I can factor out negative, it will be plus inside here. Then plus 9 is equal to 0. After that, let me just rearrange. I put x at the end here. Then it's equal to 0. That's a quadratic equation. That's a quadratic equation. Then after that, this quadratic equation represents the points of intersection of the line and the curve. Right? Then now we're being told that there is only one point of intersection because the tangent. So what does it mean? It means there is only one root. B squared minus 4ac is equal to 0. Let me list the variables. A is equal to 1, coefficient of x squared. Then b is equal to minus 4 plus m. C is equal to 9. Like this. Then I substitute b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0. B squared, it will be minus 4 plus m, then squared minus 4a. What is a here? It's 1. C is 9. It's supposed to be equal to 0. Then it will be minus. If you can square minus sign here, it will be a plus. So we'll be left with 4 plus m squared minus 4 times 1 times 9 is 36 is equal to 0. Then this one you can simplify, expand this bracket. It's 4 plus m twice. minus 36 is equal to 0. Then 4 plus m, this bracket multiply this bracket, it will be 4. Then multiply 4 plus m, then plus m, multiply 4 plus m, minus 36 is equal to 0. Then remove this bracket, 4 times 4, 16, 4 times m, 4m, plus 4 times m, 4m, plus m squared minus 36 is equal to 0. Then simplify further, 16 plus 8m here, plus m squared minus 36 is equal to 0. Now express the quadratic equation in m. It will be m squared plus 8m. Then 16 minus 36 is minus 20 is equal to 0. Then let's factorize this one. This and this multiply. It will be minus 20 m squared. Minus 20. Find two numbers, factors of 20, which when multiply they give you 20, and when 8 was subtract, they give you 8m. Which are the numbers? It's minus 2 and plus 10. So replace the middle value, which is plus 8m here, with the factors. You say m squared, it will be minus 2m plus 10m. Then minus 20 is equal to 0 here. So it's 0. Then factorize this one and this one and this one and this one. It will be m here. Factor out m, then m minus 2 plus factor out 10 here. M minus 2 is equal to 0. Then it will be m minus 2 inside the bracket, they are the same. Or m plus 10 outside the bracket is equal to 0. Either here, m minus 2 is equal to 0. Or m plus 10 is equal to 0, like this. Then simplifying further, it will be m is equal to 0 plus 2 is 2. Or m is equal to 0 minus 10 is minus 10. So these are the two possible values of m. What was our question? First thing, to find the possible values of the constant m, we are done. And the corresponding coordinates of the points at which the line touches the curve. Now the points where the line touches the curve, well, we come here. Let me wrap this. I want to use this space. Right. You take this equation here. That's the equation representing the point of intersection of the line and the curve. So that's the one that we use. In that one, we just substitute the two values of m. First 2 and then minus 10. So when m is equals to 2, it will be x squared minus 4 then here plus 2x plus 9 is equals to 0. I have just substituted where there is m, I have put 2. Then it will be x squared minus 6 here. X plus 9 is equals to 0. It's a quadratic equation here. Plus 9x squared. Then the numbers which when I'm applying, they give me plus 9. When I add or subtract, they give me minus 6. It's what? It's minus 3 and minus 3, right? So I substitute here. I say x squared minus 3x minus 3x, replacing minus 6x, the middle value, with the factors. Plus 9 is equal to 0. Then I take this and this, this and this. It will be x here. X minus 3. Minus 3 here. X minus 3 is equal to 0. Then it's x minus 3 inside the bracket, they are the same. Outside the bracket is x minus 3 is equal to 0. It's either this bracket x minus 3 is equal to 0 or x minus 3 is equal to 0. From this bracket, you can say x is equal to 0 plus 3 is 3. Even on this side, it will still be 3. So it will be twice here. Then when x is equal to 3, what will be y? Then you say y is equal to, right, we substitute in the equation of the curve. Original equation, this one. So you say 3 squared minus 4 times 3 plus 3. What do we get here? 3 squared is 9 minus 12 plus 3. You get 0. So when x is equal to 3, y is equal to 0. That's the first coordinate point. Then the other one, you are now using x minus 10. Once they found m minus 10, sorry, once they find two values of m. m3 and m minus 10 here. We are using m minus 10 now. So if m is minus 10, we're substituting in the same equation, this one. So it will be m is equal to minus 10. Then we get x squared minus 4 minus 10 x plus 9 is equal to 0. Then from there you can say x squared minus, right, 4 minus 10 is minus 6. Minus 6 minus minus 6, it will be plus 6x here. Plus 9 is equal to 0. Then factorize this one and this one. It will be plus 9x squared. Then find two numbers. Factors of 9. Adding or subtracting, they give you 6. Is plus 3 and plus 3. So let's use those factors. Is x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9 is equal to 0. Then factorize this one, this one, this one, this one. It will be x here, x plus 3 here, plus 3 here, x plus 3 is equal to 0. Then x plus 3 inside the bracket, or x plus 3 outside the bracket is equal to 0. Either x plus 3 is equal to 0 or x plus 3 is equal to 0. From these two, you can conclude that x is equal to then 0 minus 3. X is equal to minus 3 twice. Then when x is equal to minus 3, what will be y? You substitute in the same equation. Right? So x minus 3y will be equal to minus 3 squared, then minus 4 times minus 3, then plus 3. That's the equation of the curve. We're substituting the equation of the curve. 9, then minus 3 will be plus 12, plus 3. 9 plus 12 plus 3. What is 9 plus 12 plus 3? 9 plus 12, 21 plus 3, 24. So when x is minus 3, y is equal to 24. That's the second coordinate point. Then you can say you are done. Question number 4. Show that the equation tan x plus sin x over tan x minus sin x is equal to k can be expressed as 1 plus cos x over 1 minus cos x is equal to k. Right? Use identities here. For tan x is equal to sin x over cos x. Sin x over cos x. So this is the one that you have to use substitute where there is tan x here. And here where there is tan x. That substitute, then you can simplify. Right, first thing, where there is sin x, let me just put sin x over cos x over cos x here. Then plus sin x numerator over denominator, I say sin x over cos x minus sin x. So you have the numerator and you have the denominator here. On the numerator, express the numerator under one denominator, also the denominator under one denominator. So numerator, we can say over cos x here. It will be, this sin x will be over 1. This one will be over 1. So if I cos x into cos x here, it will be 1 times sin x, it will be sin x on top there. Then plus 1 into cos x times sin x, it will be cos x sin x. Like this. Then let's move on to the denominator. We also put under cos theta here, cos x. Then this one will be over 1. Cos x into cos x, 1 times sin x, it will be sin x. Minus 1 into cos x times sin x, cos x sin x. Like this. Then you can introduce the division sign. This one equals. Then you can say sin x plus cos x sin x over cos x. You can say divided by sin x minus cos x sin x over cos x. To make it easier to simplify. Then after that, introduce a multiplication, then invert, right? Also, can you be factorizing this one? You can factorize this one, sin x, then cos x. What will be left after factorization here? Let me just factorize it will be 1, factorizing this one, sine x plus cos x sine x. What do you get? This one is sine. You get 1 plus cos x over cos x. Then you say times. Then this one you invert, which means cos x will be the numerator over, but this one was sine x. You have to factorize it. So you factor out sine x here. Then you'll be left in the inside the bracket. There is 1 here minus sine x. Then you have to cancel out the cos x here. Then sine x and sine x here. We'll be left with 1 plus cos x over 1 minus. This one is cos x. 1 minus cos x. Then you can say done. So take note, this one, factorizing this one, this one is sine x minus cos x sine x. So factorizing this one, factor out sine x here, then open bracket, you'll be left with 1 minus cos x. So that's how I was factorizing. Take note of that. Next, Jens express cos x in terms of k. Cos x in terms of k is that one, just take it from here. It's 1 plus cos x over 1 minus cos x is equals to k. It's just making k subject of formula here. Make k subject of formula. How? Cross multiply first. This one will be over 1. 1 will multiply. It will be 1 plus cos x. So 1 multiply cos 1 plus cos x. Then k will multiply 1 minus cos x like this. Remove brackets, it will be 1 plus cos x here is equals to, then this one is k times 1k minus k cos x. Collect like terms in cos x. But you want to make cos x subject, it must be cos x is equal to something, where there is k on that something. Right, then it will be cos x here plus k cos x is equal to k minus 1. Then factor out cos x here. Then it will be 1 plus k is equal to k minus 1. Simplifying this one further, divide by 1 plus k, 1 plus k both sides. It will be cos x is equals to, then this one will cancel out. 1 plus k, 1 plus k will cancel out on this side. Then you'll be left with k minus 1 over 1 plus k. So we have expressed cos x in terms of k. Done. Next, then solve the equation tan x plus sin x over tan x minus sin x is equal to 4. Let's go up there. Right, up here you can see that the same tan x which is being said to be 4 is the same thing here. So in other words, they are telling you that k is equal to 4. That's what they're telling you. When k is equal to 4, then solve the equation. That's what they're telling you. Then you come here, you put k4, right? Just use this one. Put k4. So you say cos x is equal to k, which is 4 minus 1. Then 1 plus 4. Where there's k, put 4. It will be cos x is equal to, then 4 minus 1 is 3 over 5. Like this. After that, you can say x is equals to add cos of 3 over 5. Then x is equals to, right, our answers are needed in degrees in this case, so they are required in degrees. So you can, in radians, fine, radians. So you can put your calculator in radian mode. Rad mode, RAD. Then after that, you can say add cos second function, then cos, then 3 divided by 5. You get 0.927. 0.927. So this one will be a principal value or a primary value, your PV. So you can put your answer in degrees, then after that you convert to radians. In degrees, this one will be, let me put in degrees, this one, 0 is 53.1 degrees. If it's in degrees, right? But let me work with radians right away. Right. In this case, let me use the quadrant rule. Quadrant rule, we have our cos theta here, cos x. Cos x is positive here. So it's positive 3 over 5. So when is cos positive in our quadrant? Is the first and the last quadrant. So this one and this one. So it means our angle is supposed to be below this line and this line. I can put my angle here 0.927 in radians. But if it's in degrees, you put 53.1. But remember to convert back to radians after you found your answer. Then the angle, how can you now calculate the angles in the quadrant rule? We have this one, it's called the positive x-axis. Positive x-axis here. So the angle is from the positive x-axis to the first line. We have this line, first line, and with this second line. So from the positive x-axis to the first line, that's the first angle that we want. Is actually, we can say x is equals to 0.927. Then the other angle is from the positive x-axis to the second line. But this angle, it will be more than 180. Our limit is up to pi. It will be more than pi. So it means that one is out of range. So the only solution is 0.927. We are done. Question number 5. The diagram shows a triangle ABC in which angle ABC is cos 90 degrees and AB is cos 4 centimeters. The sector ABD is part of a circle with center A. The area of the sector is 10 square centimeters. Find angle BAD. Right. So if the area of the sector, what is the area of the sector? Is half r squared theta. And you are being told that is 10 here. And the angle that you want, BAD, is this one. This is our angle. We can just substitute whatever is relevant here. It's half times r squared is 4. 4 squared, then theta is equals to 10. Then we can find our theta here. 4 squared is actually 16. 16 over 2 is 8. Is 8 theta is equals to 10. Then you divide by, let me divide by 8 both sides here. Then after that you get your theta is 10 over 8. You can get your theta simplified by 2 is 5 over 4. Then you can put as a decimal is 1.25. This one will be radians, right? So 5 divided by 2 is 5 divided by 4 is actually 1.25. Then next, find the perimeter of the shaded region. Perimeter of the shaded region. Right, shaded region is this one. We have AB. So perimeter, I can write here, perimeter is equals to arc length BD plus DC plus BC. For which DC, I have to find AC first. Then I subtract 4 centimeters here. Then BC, I can find it right away using right angle triangle ABC. To find those things, I have to use SOHCAHTOA. So this one is used to solve right angle triangles, right? SOHCAHTOA. Right. We want to first thing finding arc length BD. Arc length BD is r theta, which means arc length is equals r theta, which is 4 times 1.25. On this one you can get 5. That's it. That's the first part. Then the second part, we have to find BC. Right, BC, this one is opposite, this one is adjacent, this one is a hypotenuse. So to find BC is opposite, we are given the adjacent. Opposite the adjacent is tan. So we say tan the angle 1.25 here, radians. Tan 1.25 radians is equals to opposite over adjacent, which is BC over 4. Tan 1.25 is equal to BC over 4. Then from this you can get 4 tan 1.25 is equal to BC. So that's our BC. So now we have BD and we have BC. Now what is left is what? Is DC. DC is AC minus AD, or AC minus D. AC is the hypotenuse, then you have adjacent, 4 centimeters. Hypotenuse adjacent is cos, it's car. So cos of an angle, cos 1.25 is adjacent, 4 over AC. Cos 1.25 is 4 over AC. Then after that, you can say AC cos multiply. AC cos 1.25 is equal to 4. Then divide by 1.25 by cos 1.25, you get AC is equals 4 over cos 1.25. Which means from this, your AC, it was what here? It was DC. DC is equals to 4 over cos 1.25 minus 4. That will be your DC. Then after that, you just add everything now. We have our DC here, we have our AC here. So perimeter, it will be equals to, we have 5, that's for BD, arc length BD, plus we have BC here, which is 4 times 1.25, then plus we have our DC here, which is 4 over cos 1.25 minus 4. Then after that, you can just find your calculator, punch everything in your calculator. It will be 5 plus, even 5 minus 4 is 1, right? So 5 minus 4 is 1, you just add 1. So you can say 1 plus 4 times 1.25. Make sure your calculator is supposed to be radiant mode. Radiant mode. Then plus 4 over cos 1.25. What do we get here? 25.7. Which means it is equals to 25.7 centimeters. That will be a perimeter to 3 significant figures. Then you can say you are done. Question number 6. Functions f and g are both defined for x is an element of all real numbers and are given by f of x is equals to x squared minus 2x plus 5. Then g of x, x squared plus 4x plus 13. By first expressing f of x and g of x in completed square form, express g of x in the form f of x plus p plus q, where p and q are constants. Right, so first thing first, complete the square. Let's complete the square first. You say here, for f of x, let me take f of x first. Then g of x is x squared minus 2x plus 5. On this one, I can say, we have this one, and we have this one. So to this one, to x squared minus 2x, you add half the coefficient of x. Add half the coefficient of x plus coefficient of x is minus 2. Half the coefficient of x, which is 1 half minus 2, then squared. Then to this 5, you subtract the same, half the coefficient of x, then squared, like this. Then it will be, if I am to simplify here, it will be x squared minus 2x. Let me simplify a bit inside the brackets. Half of minus 2 is minus 1 squared plus 5 minus 1 squared. Then it will be, then you take this and this. You ignore this one. It will be x minus 1 here squared plus 5 minus 1 squared is 1. Then it will be x minus 1 squared plus 4. This will be your f of x in completed square format. Then now let me take g of x. G of x is equals to, what is our g of x? It's x squared plus 4x plus 13. The same concept of completing the square. There is x squared plus 4x. To this one, I add I have the coefficient of x, which is plus 4, then squared, then to 13, to this 13 I subtract. I have the coefficient of x squared. Then after that it will be x squared plus 4x, then plus, I simplify inside the bracket, we get plus 2 here, squared, then plus 13 minus plus 2 squared, then it will be equals to, then I take this and this, I ignore the middle value, then x plus 2 squared plus 13. 2 squared is 4. It will be x plus 2 squared, then plus 9. This will be all g of x is equals to, right, we've completed the square. That's the first part, completing the square. Then the second part is this one, to express g of x in terms of f of x. Right, what you have to do here is you have to find out how can we get f of x or g of x from f of x. Like here we have what is inside the brackets, we have minus 1 here, we have plus 2 here. How did we arrive at plus 2? So in other words, we have added something, we can say y 2 to minus 1 to get 2, right? We can say y is equals 2 plus 1, y is equals to 3. So we have added 3 to this number inside the brackets to get g of x, right? We have added to f of x to get g of x. Then outside we have 4 and 9 here. To get 9 from 4, we have added 5. So inside we can say we have added 3. Then outside we have added 5. That will be your g of x in terms of f of x. Then you can say you are done. Right, next, describe fully the transformation which transforms the graph of y is equals to f of x to the graph of y is equals to g of x. F of x to g of x. Right, you can try to have a look here. We have added 3 on the x. These values inside the bracket represent x and this value represents y. So we have added 3 to x and added 5 to y. It's called a translation. Right, translation. Then add plus 3 steps x-axis, then plus 5 steps y-axis. You can simplify using the translation vector. You can say 3, 5. Then this one the translation vector, right? 3x and 5y. Then you are done. Next question. Write down the first 4 terms of the expansion in ascending powers of x. So this one is a minus x to the power 6. How you can do it? You can use the power 6 is a positive integer. So since 6 is a positive integer, you can use the factorial way, right? You can use the factorial way, or the choose way. You say here a to the power 6 plus 6 choose 1 to the, then a to the power 6 minus 1, which is 5, then minus x to the power 1 plus 6 choose 2, then a to the power 6 minus 2, which is 4, then minus x to the power 2 plus 6 choose 3, then a to the power 6 minus 3 is 3 minus x to the power 3. So the formula is there in your booklet, don't worry, you'll see it. It's just a matter of substitution. Next is a to the power 6 here, plus 6 choose 1 is actually 6. Then because of this minus, okay, let me just simplify this one first. This one will be minus x here, plus 6 choose 2 is what? 15. 6 choose 2, let me 15. Then it will be 15 here, a to the power 4. Then minus x squared is x squared, it will be plus x squared, then plus 6 choose 3 is what? 20. 6 choose 3 is 20, yes. 20, then a cubed, then this one is minus x cubed, like this. Let me simplify further. A6 minus 6a5x plus 15a4x squared. Then this one will be minus, because I'm applying with minus x cubed here, 20a cubed x cubed, like this. Then you can say we are done. These are the first 4 terms. Next question is saying, given that the coefficient of x squared in the expansion of that one is minus 20, find in exact form the possible values of the constant a. Possible values of the constant a, right? What you do here is this one we've already expanded it here. You just take that expansion, you write 1 plus 2 over ax, then you multiply that x with that expansion, a6 minus 6a5 x plus 15a4x squared, then minus 20a3x cubed. Right, you have to write everything, right? That's the first stage, first level. Then after that, we are being told that the coefficient of x squared. So what you want are the values which give us x squared only. All the other values, no problem. But those that can give us x squared, those are the ones that matters here. Right, which one can give us x squared here? You can say, let me change my ink here. This one and this one. If you can multiply this and this, you can get x squared. So you can say 1 times 15a4, you can just get 15a4x squared, right? Then after that, if you can simplify with which one? This one and this one can give us x squared, right? Well, this one is x cubed. X cubed. So it will be that one, so it's plus then 2 over ax times minus 20 a cubed x cubed. Let's simplify. These are the terms that can give us a term in x squared. So that affect terms, there are no problem. So this one will be 15a to the power 4 x squared, then plus this one, it will be minus actually. This one will be minus 2 times 20 is 40. Then let me change my a and a cubed is a squared here. Then x and x cubed is x squared here. So these are the terms in x squared. I can factor out my x squared here. Then it will be 15a4 minus 40 a squared, then x squared. Like this. Then while being told that the term in x squared is minus 20, want to find the value of the constant a. You can say this one, the term in x squared, you can just equate to minus 20, 15a4 minus 40a squared is equals to minus 20. Then express as a quadratic equation, it will be 15a4 minus 40 a squared then plus 20 is equals to 0. Then you can see there's a common factor 5 there. Divide everything by 5. You'll be left with 3a4 minus 8a squared plus 4 is equals to 0. Then this one you can express in this form. Minus 8a squared, I'm sure you can remember these equations, plus 4 is equal to 0. Right after that, to make it easy to simplify, you can say let y is equals to a squared. Like this. Then you can work with y instead of a squared. Then substitute later. It will be 3y squared minus 8y plus 4 is equal to 0. Then factorize this one. You take this and this is plus 12y squared. Which two numbers? When you multiply, they give you plus 12. 8 will subtract, they give you minus 8. It's minus 6 and minus 2. Minus 6 and minus 2. So it will be 3y squared minus 6y minus 2y plus 4 is equals to 0. Then factorize this one and this one. You factor out 3y here, y minus 2, factor out minus 2 here, y minus 2 is equal to 0. Then y minus 2, y minus 2 inside the bracket, they are the same. You write y minus 2 inside the bracket, then 3y minus 2 is equal to 0. Right, then after this, you can say y minus 2 is equal to 0, or 3y minus 2 is equal to 0. Then from this, you can get y is equal to 0 plus 2, 2, or 3y is equal to 2. 3y is equal to 2 from this one. Dividing by 2, you can get 1 by 3. Y is equal to 2 over 3. Right? So we have two values of y, but you have let y to be a squared here. So the first one is y is equal to 2. We said y is equal to a squared, and you have two values here. We have 2 and 2 over 3. So you can replace, if you can put 2 here, is equal to a squared, want the values of a, right? Then to get rid of the square, you put square root both sides. Put square root. So a here, square root of 2 is equal to a, which means a is equal to plus or minus square root of 2. Square root of a number is plus or minus root of 2. Then on the other side, if you can put 2 over 3 here is equal to a squared. Then 2 over 3 is equal to a squared here. Then you can put square root. You get 2 over 3 is equal to a. So a will be equal to plus or minus square root of 2 over 3. Then you can say you are done. You have found the values of a. Right. Then the next question number 8. Functions f and g are defined as follows. Solve the equation fg of x is equal to 3. Fg of x equals to 3. Right, you find f here. G of x, you take f. In f, where there's x in f, you put g of x. That's what you do. So it will be like fg of x, you take f, which is x squared. Where there's x, you put g of x. So it will be 1 over 2x plus 1. Then squared minus 1. That's fg of x, right? So you take f. Where there's x in f, you put g of x, which is 1 over 2x plus 1. Then after that, it will be, then this one was being told is equal to 3. It will be 1 over 2x plus 1. Then squared minus 1 is equal to 3. Then now you have to simplify. You have to solve this equation now. Then this one you can say 1 over 2x plus 1. Then collect like terms, 3 plus 1 on this side. It will be 4. This one is squared actually. Then now you want to get rid of the square. What do? You put square root. Both sides. You put square roots here. After putting the square root, you'll be left with 1 over 2x plus 1 is equal to, square root of 4 is plus or minus 2. It's plus or minus 2. Then first, you take with plus. Second, you take with minus. So if it's plus 2, you can say 1 over 2x minus 1 is equal to 2 plus 2. Then after that, you can cross multiply. This one is over 1. 1 times 1 is equal to this one multiply this one multiply this one. 2, then 2x minus 1. 1 times 1 is equal to 2 times, it's 4x, remove brackets here. 4x minus 2. Collect terms, you can say 1 plus 2 is equal to 4x here. 1 plus 2 is 3, is equal to 4x. Then divide by 4, both sides. You get your x is equal to 3 over 4. That's the first part. Then the other one is when x is equal to, this when we take minus 2 here, we can say 1 over 2x. It was 2x plus 1, not 2x minus 1. Wow, serious one. So this one was a plus, not a minus, plus, plus, plus. Then this one was a plus. This one was supposed to be a minus here. Minus here. Then this one, it means. So this one was this one is supposed to be a minus. Then this one is supposed to be minus 1. This one is supposed to be minus a quarter. Like this. Then up there, we can say this one is equals to, it's a plus here. Then it's minus 2. Now we're taking minus 2. If it's minus 2, then cross multiply over 1 here. 1 times 1 is equals to minus 2. Then 2x plus 1. Then this one, it will be 1 is equals to minus 4x minus 2. 1 plus 2 is equals to minus 4x. Then 3 is equals to minus 4x. Divide by minus 4 by minus 4. You get your x is equals to minus 3 over 4. Then you can say you are done. Next part. Find an expression for the inverse of g, fg of x. So you have to find fg of x first, right? What is fg of x? Let me go up there. Right, fg of x, did we find it? Yes, we found it here. So it's 1 over this one, it's fg of x. So the inverse now, it's 1 over 2x plus 1 squared minus 1. 1 over 2x plus 1 squared minus 1. That's fg of x. Let me confirm. It's minus 1, right? 1 over 2x squared minus 1. Then now we have to find the inverse of this function. Inverse of this function, that's minus 1. It means inverse of this function. Right? So what you do here is that you let y is equals to, let y is equals to fg of x. Like this. Then you say y is equals to 1 over 2x plus 1. Then squared minus 1. After that, you make x subject of the formula. Make x subject of the formula. You say y plus 1 is equals to 1 over 2x plus 1 squared. Then you want to get rid of the square. What do? We put square roots both sides. Like this. Then it will be square root of y plus 1 is equals to 1 over 2x plus 1. Right, you are still there. Then after that, cross multiplication, it will be root of y plus 1. Then it multiplies 2x plus 1 is equals to 1. We've cross multiplied here. Don't be confused by square root of y plus 1. It's simple. Just take it as a single value, right? And put 2x plus 1 inside the brackets. Then now remove the brackets. Like take this one for example. If it was a number, how are we going to remove this bracket? Just apply the same concept. Then this one, it will be 2x multiplying square root of y plus 1. Then plus 1 multiplying square root of y plus 1 is equals to 1. That's how we suppose we're going to remove the bracket, right? Take if there was 2, just do the same, right? Don't get confused there. Then here, collect terms in y, because you want x here. Want x here. So you say 2x here, square root of y plus 1 is equals to 1 minus square root of y plus 1. Then after that, divide by 2. You divide by, you want to be left with x here. So you divide by 2 square root of y plus 1 both sides. 2 square root of y plus 1 both sides. Then this 2 will cancel. This one will cancel this one. We'll be left with x is equals to 1 minus square root of y plus 1 over 2 square root of y plus 1. Then after that, your inverse now, fgx inverse, it will be, you now replace y with x. You replace this y, you put x here, so it will be 1 minus square root of x plus 1. Then even this y down here over 2 square root of x plus 1. That's what you do. In this case, you have said, you can say that you have solved this one. You have found the square root, the inverse function of fg of x. That's the inverse function. Right, done. Next. Question number 9. A geometric progression is such that the second term is equal to 24% of the sum to infinity. Second term, which is a GP, right? Sum of a GP, basically, nth term of a GP is AR to the power n minus 1. That's a geometric progression. So they say a geometric progression is such that the second term is what? Is AR to the power 2 minus 1, which is AR, is equal to 24% of the sum to infinity. Is equal to 24% of the sum to infinity. So AR is equals to 24%, which is 24 over 100 of the sum to infinity. Sum to infinity is A over 1 minus R. That's the sum to infinity of a GP. So they say find the possible values of the common ratio. Right, what you do here, you have to simplify, right? Find the possible terms of the values of the common ratio. What you do here is say AR is equals to 24% is 24 over 100. What you can do here, you can just say 0.24. It's still the same. Then on this one is A over 1 minus R here. A over 1 minus R. Then you can cross multiply. Use 1 minus R here. You can say AR times 1 minus R is equal to 0.24 times A. Then after that you can divide by A so that you can be left with R. You can say over A both sides. After dividing by A will cancel out. Then R, 1 minus R is equal to 0.24. Then A will cancel out. Then remove this bracket. R minus R squared is equal to 0.24. You can express this one as a quadratic equation, right? Express as a quadratic equation. You can get here 0 is equal to R squared minus R plus 0.24. This is the same as R squared minus R plus 0.24 is equal to 0, like this. Then after that, you can use the quadratic formula. A is equal to 1, B is equal to minus 1, C is equal to 0.24. So you can say by quadratic formula, R is equal to minus B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So which means R is equals to, right, minus B is minus 1 plus or minus square root of B squared is minus 1 squared minus 4, your A. Right, what is your A here? It's minus 4 times A, which is 1 times C, which is R squared. Then this one is minus R plus 0.24. There's a mistake somewhere there. A geometric progression said that the second term is equal to 24% of the sum to infinity. So this one is called 0.24. Then it's 1 minus R here divided by R. Here is 0.24A. Then AA will cancel out, you'll be left with R here, R squared. Then it's equal to 0.24 here. Then after that, you can say this one, then R squared. This one is plus R. That's where the problem is. Right, there's an error here. It's so this one is R squared, then minus R, then plus 0.24, B squared minus 4AC. So your A is actually 1 here. 4A, 4 times 1 times C is 0.24. So there's no error. over 2 times a is 2 times 1, which is because minus minus is 1 plus or minus square root of 1 squared is 1 minus 4 times 0, 2. 4 times 0,24 is actually 0,96 over 2. Then it will be 1 plus or minus this one 0,04. So it will be square root of 0,04 over 2. Like this. Then it will be equals to 1 plus or minus square root of 0,04. Square root of 0,04, you get 1/5, which is equal to 0.2. 0.2 over 2. So R is equals to 1 minus 0.2 over 2, or R is equals to 1 plus 0.2 over 2. If we can simplify this one, you can get R is equals to 1 minus 0,2 is 0.8. 0.8 divided by 2 is 0,4. Then or R is equals to, then this one 1 plus 0,2 is 1,2. 1,2 divided by 2 is 0.6. So these are the two possible values of R, right? Right. Then part B, an arithmetic progression P is first term A and common difference D. An arithmetic progression Q is first term 2A plus 1 and common difference D plus 1. It is given that one, then find the value of A and the value of D. Find the value of A and the value of D. Right, what you do here is first thing first. It's an arithmetic progression here. P first term A, so first term A here and common difference D, which means the nth term here is A plus D. Then another arithmetic progression Q, first term, that's Q here, first term A is equals to 2A plus 2, that is removing the bracket there. Then you can have a common difference is D plus 1. Then they say it is given that the fifth term of P, let me say T5 of P, which means the fifth term of P is this one, is T5. T5, it will be, or let me write that one first. T5 is equals to A plus 4D. Then what is D for P? Is actually D. Then next, over the 12th term of Q, which means T12 of Q is A, which is what is A for Q? Is 2A plus 2 plus N minus 1, 11 times D, which is D plus 1. Right? Simplifying this one, you get 2A plus 2 plus 11D plus 11. Then simplifying this one, you get 2A plus this one is 11D plus 13, like this. So that's the 12th term of Q. Then this over this is equals to, we have the sum of the first 5 terms of P, sum of 5 of P. Sum of 5, remember, is N over 2. Then 2A plus N minus 1 times D. Which means S of N terms of that one, it will be N over 5 over 2. 5 over 2, then 2 times A plus N minus 1 is 5 minus 1, which is 4 times D. So this one is the sum of 5 terms of P. Then, so 1, 1. Then second one, we have sum of 5 stands for 2, stands for 2 also. Then the sum of 5 terms of Q. This one is Q. This one was P. For Q, it will be equals to n over 2, which is equals 5 over 2. It will be 5 over 2 here. Then 2 times a. What was a on this one? Is 2a plus 2. Then plus n minus 1, which is 5 minus 1, 4 times d. D is what? Is d plus 1. Like this. Then after that, you can simplify here. 5 over 2. Let me just write 5 over 2 here. Then 2a, it will be 4a. Remove the brackets. Plus 4. Then plus 4d plus 4. Close the bracket. Then you can simplify inside here. It's 5 over 2. Then inside 4a plus 4d. Then 4 plus 4 is plus 8. So that's why so this one is the sum of 5 terms of Q. Right, now we're given that the 5th term of P, which is this one, over the 12th term of Q, which is this one, is equals 1/3. So you say A plus 4D over 2A plus 11D plus 13 is equals to 1 over 3. And also you can form an equation there in D and A. Then another one, we're given that sum of 5 terms of P over sum of 5 terms of Q. So of P is this one. We can say 5 over 2, then 2A plus 4D over, then of Q is this one. 5 over 2, 4a plus 4d plus 4d, then plus 8. Then we are given that is equals to 2 over 3, right? So it's equals to 2 over 3. Then our question is saying find the value of a and the value of d. So from these two expressions, we can make two or formulate two equations. Then you can solve them as simultaneous equations. These two cancel out. On this one, you can cross multiply here. 3 will multiply a plus 4d. Then is equals, then 1 will multiply 2a plus 11d plus 13. Like this. It was 13, right? Let me confirm. Yes, it was 13. Then remove the brackets. 3a plus 12d is equals to 2a plus 11d plus 13. Collect like terms here. 3a minus 2a plus 12d minus 11d is equals to 13. Expressing as a simultaneous equation. Plus here d is equals to 13. So this one is the first equation. Second equation, I use this one, cross multiplication. 3 will multiply 2a plus 4d. Then is equals to 2 will multiply 4a plus 4d plus 8. Then remove brackets, you get 6a plus 12d is equals to here. It will be 8a plus 8d plus 8 times 2 is 16. Then after that, you can collect like terms here. 6a minus, so that the coefficient of a to be positive, to avoid working with negatives, let me say minus 16 here. Minus 16 on this side is equals to then 8a minus 6a plus 8d minus 12d. Then minus 16 is equals to 2a here. Then minus 8d is 4d. Right, there's a common factor 2 here. So if you divide everything by 2, by 2, by 2, you get minus 8 is equals to a minus 2d. This one you can express as a minus 2d is equals to minus 8. That will be equation 2. Like this. Then you solve these two equations as simultaneous equations. No more space. Okay, you can just utilize this space. So solve these two equations. So we have a minus 2d, or a plus d is equals to 13, and a minus 2d is equals to minus 8. We can use elimination method. Eliminate a, you subtract here. Equation 1 minus 2, then a minus a is 0, d minus 2d. d minus 2d is d plus 2d, is actually 3d, is equals to 13 minus 8 is 13. 13 minus 8 is what? 13 minus 8, 13 plus 8. 13 plus 8 is actually, can you get 21? Because 8 plus 3 is 11, 1 carry 1, so it's 21. Then you divide by 3 here, you get your d is equals to 7. Then after getting your d 7, you want to get your a. So a, you can just take equation 1 or 2. Let me take equation 1. I can say in 1, a plus d, where there's d I put 7, is equals 13. Then a is equals 13 minus 7. A is equals 13 minus 7 is what? Is 6. So a is equals 6 and d is equals to 7. Then you can say you are done, right? Question number 10. Points A, B, and C lie on the circumference of a circle with center D. Show that the angle ABC is equals 90 degrees. Right? Show this angle is 90 degrees. There is AB and AC. It's more like this. AB and AC. So to show it's 90 degrees, gradient of AB and gradient of AC must be the dot product or the multiple product of the gradients must be equal to minus 1. So in this case, just find gradient of AB and gradient of AC of BC, then multiply the two. Done. Right. So you say AB, this one is x1, y1. Yes, just use that formula. Gradient, which is m, is equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So for AB, it will be equal to y2 is for B, so it's 0 minus 3 over y1, x1 minus x2 minus 2. Then simplifying this one, what do you get here? 0 minus 2 is minus 2. 3 minus 2, 3 plus 2, which is equals to 5. So this one is for AB. Gradient, right? Then let's find for BC. BC, you say, this one B and C is 5 minus 0 over 6 minus 3. 5 minus 0 is 5. Then 6 minus 3. 6 minus 3 is actually 3. So on AB, this one is x1, y1, x2, y2. Right, y2 is 0 minus 3 over 3 minus 2, which is over 5. Then on this one, 5 over 5 minus 0 over 6 minus 3. That's for BC. Right? So it's 5 over 3. Then, but what about these two? Oh, this one is 3. Sorry. There's an error here. It's actually 3, not 2. This is poor handwriting. So this one is supposed to be 3. Like this. So it's supposed to be minus 3 over 5. And this one is supposed to be 5 over 3. Then after that, you say M1 times M2 is equals to minus 1. M1 is minus 3 over 5 times M2, 5 over 3. Then you can simplify, you get minus 1. Then you've shown. Like that. Then next, let's state the coordinates of D. What is D in this case? They said here, they said these points A, B, and C lie on the circumference of a circle with center D. So if they lie on the circumference of a circle with center D, what does it mean? It means that, let me draw the diagram here. It means that A, B, and C, if the angle at B is 90 degrees, then it means the line, this one, is supposed to be diameter, because angle subtended by diameter is a right angle, which means AC is supposed to be the diameter of a circle, like this. So, to find the coordinates points of this one, you just find the midpoint of AC. Midpoint of AC, that's the radius, that's D, the center of the circle, right? Take note of that. So angle is the center, angle subtended by the diameter is a right angle. So you can just find midpoint of AC. Midpoint, you say x2 plus x1 minus 2 plus 6 over 2. Then y2 plus y1 over 2. That's midpoint. Then from this one you can get minus is 4 over 2. Then this one is 8 over 2. Then it will be 2, 2, 4. 2, 4, these are the coordinates of D. Done. Next, find the equation of the circle. Equation of the circle, you say x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equals r squared, where a and b represent the center, right? Our center in this case is D. And radius is the distance from the center to any point on the circumference. So in this case, you can say x minus center is 2 squared plus y minus b is 4 squared is equals r squared. Now there's a problem. You have to find r. You can use the coordinate D, which is 2, 4, and you can use any point, whether A or B or C, whatever point you want, still is the same. In this case, let me use B, 3, 0. I can use 3, 0, which is for B in this case. So B is 3, 0. So to find the length of the line, that's r. You say r squared is equals to x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. That's for the radius, right? So r squared is equals to x2 minus x1 squared. You can say 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 squared plus 0 minus 4 squared. R squared is equals to 3 minus 1, 3 minus 2 squared, which is 1 squared is 1, plus 0 minus 4 is minus 4 squared is 16, which is equals to 17. So R squared is equals to 17. Then you come up here, we replace R squared, you put 17. So this one will be the equation of the circle. Then you can say you are done. Next, the point E lies on the circumference of the circle such that BE is the diameter. Find an equation of the tangent to the circle at E. Let me draw my circle here. I have put my B on this side. B. So D is the midpoint here. Point E lies on the circumference of the circle such that B is the diameter, which means if B is here 90 degrees, then E is supposed to be somewhere here passing through the center, right? It passes through D, like this. So there's E somewhere here, and we have our A here, and we have our C on this side. Our radius here, it will be like root of 17, right? This one is the radius, like this. So they say, find the equation of the tangent to the circle at E. Tangent at E, it will be like this. Right? That's with the tangent at E. So to find the equation of this tangent, you know that this one, line from the center means the tangent at 90 degrees. So they are perpendicular lines. Gradient, find the gradient. You just find the gradient of the line BE or BD. Then after that, you use M1, M2 is equals minus 1. So first let's find gradient. Gradient of BE. So this one passes through D. So you can just use the points B and D. B, it was the point 30. Let me write 30. Then E, we can use D. This is the point. This is the point 24. So 24 and 30. Find the gradient. You say gradient is equals, that's of BE. It's y2 minus y1. 4 minus 0 over x2 minus x1. 2 minus 3, which is 4 over minus 1. It's minus 4. Like this. Then gradient of the other line, we say m1, m2 times m2 is equals minus 1. So you say minus 4 m2 is equals minus 1. It will be m2 is equals to 1 over 4. Then that will be the gradient of the line, the tangent passing through E, right? So we now have the gradient. What is left to find the equation is the point at E. How can you find the point at E? Right, you have to find the equation of line BD. Then after that, so equate to the equation of the circle, right? Solve simultaneous equations with the equation of the circle. That's what we do. Now let's find the equation of the line BE. Equation of line BE, we have gradient minus 4. So we write equation of BE line gradient minus 4. So it's y is equals minus 4x plus c. Then you can use the point B, which is 30, right? It means you can use the point B, 30. It means x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 0. Is 0 is equals to minus 4 x3 plus c. 0 is equals to minus 12 plus c. So we get c is equals to 12. After that, we can say y is equals to minus 4x plus 12. So this one is the equation of the line BE. Equation of the line BE. Now we want to find the coordinates points of E. What we do is we consider this equation of the line and the equation of the circle. So we say y is equal to this one. This one is equation 1. Then you go up to the equation of the circle. Equation of the circle was up here. Is this one. X minus 2 squared, y minus 4 squared. X minus 2 squared, y minus 4 squared is equals to 17. Then this one will be equation 2. Then you can use the two equations to find the values of x and the values of y. Then you are done. Right. We substitute here. Equation 1, we can take where there's 1. Here, you can substitute, you put minus 4x plus 12. So you write here, x minus 2 squared plus, where there's 1, you put minus 4x plus 12. Then minus 4 squared is equals to 17. This one, it will be x minus 2 squared, x minus 2 here. Then plus, simplifying this one, you get minus 4x plus 8. Then squared is equal to 17. Then this one also is it will still be the same as expansion like this one. So you say here minus 4x, then it multiplies minus 4x plus 8. Then plus 8 will multiply the same. Minus 4x plus 8 is equals to 17. Then removing brackets here, x squared here minus this one and this one 2x, then minus 2x plus 4 like this. After that, then you have to simplify this long thing. X squared minus 4x plus 4 plus 16x squared minus 32x, then plus, is still minus 32x on this side, minus 32x plus 64 is equals to 17. Then simplifying further, you get here x squared plus x squared is 17x squared. Then minus 4 minus 32 is minus 68x here, because minus 32 minus 30 is minus 64. Minus 64 plus minus 64 minus 4 is minus 68. Then 4 plus 64 minus 17. 4 plus 64 minus 17, you get 51. Plus 51 is equals to 0. Like this. Right. There's a common factor 17. 17 can get into 68. 68 divided by 17. Yes, 4 times. So it divides by 17 everything. For 17, 51 it can get there. Then you can get your equation x squared minus 4x. Then 51 divided by 17, 3. Plus 3 is equal to 0. Now you find the x coordinates here, the points of x. You factorize this one. It will be x squared. The two numbers is minus 3 minus 3. Minus 3x minus 1x plus 3 is equal to 0. So it's minus 3 and minus 1. Factor out x here. X minus 3. Factor out minus 1 here. X minus 3 is equal to 0. Then x minus 3, x minus 1 is equal to 0. It's either x minus 3 is equal to 0 or x minus 1 is equal to 0. Then x is equal to 0 plus 3, which is 3, or x is equals to 0 plus 1, which is 1. So these are the coordinate point of x, right? Then you want to find the corresponding coordinates of y. Of y, you can use our equation, this one, of the line. We say when x is equals to 3, when x is equals to 3, then y is equals to minus 4, 3 plus 12, which is equals to, just to have space here, okay, so everything is supposed to fit here. Minus 4 times 3, you get 0 here. So when x is equals to 3, y is equals to 0. So the wave point coordinate 3, 0. Then when x is equals to 1, then y will be equals to minus 4 times 1 plus 12, which is equals to 8. So if another point 1 and 8. So these are the possible values or coordinates or points of E in this case, right? Find the equation with the tangent to the sequent E. So you have 2 points in this case, right? Right, we can use 1, 3, 3, 0 and 1, 8. What can you use here? 1, 8, right? Then if you can use 1, 8 here, what 3, 0 is for B, right? Remember, this one is the point where it means B. Then this one is the point where for E. So this one is the coordinate of E, right? So it's 1, 8 for E. Now we have the point 1, 8, and we have the gradient minus a quarter. So you write y is equals to minus a quarter. Was it minus a quarter here? It was a quarter, sorry. It was a quarter, this one. It's a quarter. So it's quarter here. Y is equals to quarter x plus c. Now find the value of c. Use the coordinate point 1 and 8. Use the coordinate point 1 and 8, these ones. You say y is equals to 8 minus 1 over 4, where there's x, put 1 plus c. Then it will be 8 minus, it will be plus a quarter is equals to c. 8 plus a quarter. What is 8 plus a quarter? It's 8 and a quarter, right? 8 and a quarter. Then you get 33 over 4. 33 over 4. So C is equals 33 over 4, like this. Then after that, replace, you get y is equals to 1 over 4 x plus 33 over 4. You multiply everything by 4, still it works. You get 4y is equals to x plus 33. It depends on the way or the format, but even like this, still is the same. Right. Then next question, this one the last question actually. Question number 11. The diagram shows part of the curve y is called that one where k is a positive constant. Find the coordinates of the minimum point of the curve, giving your answer in terms of k. Giving your answer in terms of k. Right, what you do here is want the coordinates of the minimum point on the curve. Right, so it differentiates that one. Minimum point dy dx equals to 0. Minimum, maximum, stationary is still the same. So you say dy dx is equal to 0. So you differentiate this one. You find dy dx there. You write dy over dx is equals to. Then that one, it will be, you bring down half here. Then x to the power, half minus 1 is minus half. Plus k squared times, you bring down minus half down there. Then x to the power, minus half minus 1 is minus 3 over 2, like this. Then after that, you simplify this one. You say this one is equals to half here. This one can be, you can say over root 2 here, over root x here. Because x to the power half, x to the power minus half is the same as 1 over x to the power half, with the same as 1 over root x. Like this. So it's over root x. Then plus, it will be minus here. Then k squared over 2. Then this one the same also applies, square root of x to the power 3, like this. Right. So on this one, please don't get confused here. Is x to the power minus 3 over 2 is the same as 1 over x to the power 3 over 2, which is the same as 1 over square root of x to the power 3. That's what I wrote here. That's what I wrote here. Then at stationary point, we know that gradient is supposed to be what? It's supposed to be 0, right? Or from this point, I think we have gone too far here. We have gone too far. Still go back to this. Because if we're equating to 0 here, there's no need going this far. What you just have to do is just say half x to the power minus half minus half minus k squared over 2, then x to the power minus 3 over 2 is equal to 0. Then after that, you say half x to the power minus half is equals to k squared over 2 x to the power minus 3 over 2. That's how you can work it out. Then after that, you can multiply everything by 2. Multiplying everything by 2, you'll be left with x to the power minus half is equals to k squared, then x to the power minus 3 over 2. Now I want to get rid of x. How can we get rid of x? Apply laws of indices. Divide everything by x to the power minus 3 over 2. X to the power minus 3 over 2. On this side, maintain the base, subtract the powers. So it will be x to the power minus half minus 3 over 2. It's half. Then is equals to, then on this side is cancel out, then you can get k squared. Like this. Minus half. Minus half plus 3 over 2. It's not half, sorry. It's a 1 actually, because this one is 2 over 2. It's 1. So this one is supposed to be 1, not supposed to be 1. The power 1. So it's x is equal to k squared. Then you are done. So that's the x coordinate. What are we supposed to find here? We're supposed to find the coordinates of the minimum point. So we have found x is equals to k squared. That's the code. What about y? We substitute in this equation of the kf, right? You say y is equals to k squared to the power half, then plus k squared, then this one is k squared to the power minus half, like this. So with this x, just put k. Done. Then it will be y is equals to k squared to the power half is k, plus this is the same as it's k squared, then multiplying here a number with the power raised to another power, you maintain the number and you multiply the powers. So this one it will be minus 1, like this. So it will be k plus, then multiplying in this, so the same base, maintain the base and add the powers, right? So it will be 2 minus 1 is 1. So here you get 2k. So the values is k squared for x and 2k for y. Then in this case you can say you are done. Like, subscribe, share this nice powerful video.